Good afternoon and welcome to Pitching in Northern Premier League action. Our coverage today comes from the Marine Travel Arena as Marine welcome Guiseley. Marine come on the back of a 1-0 victory last Saturday away at Atherton Collieries and sit 7th in the league. Guiseley are in 9th place. They're not far behind the Mariners in the table, but a win for Marine this afternoon could take them into the playoff places if results go their way. I'm joined this afternoon by Adam Tiffin. Adam, it's an unchanged side from the last weekend. What do you expect to see from Marine today?
Well, good afternoon, everyone. I think it's a positive sign from Neil Young that he's decided to keep the same team. Obviously, a good win last weekend. We're in and around these promotion spots, but I think, as per usual, today's game will be a tough one. You'd maybe like to see a bit more goals flowing in the squad. Obviously, the last few games have been, well, last game 1-0 out against in the previous match, and then before those two 4-goal games. So goals are flowing, and the main thing I think at the moment is we need to settle down that defence, because it's a very different defence than the ones we've had over the last few weeks.
Well, here come the two teams. Marine in their full white and black kit. Guiseley in a maroon shirt, socks and shorts. I'll just run you through the two teams, starting with the visitors. In goal they've got number 1 Cameron Mason, 2 is Quain Boateng, 3 Alejandro Macedo, 4 Ross Daly, 5 Isaac Asenso, 6 Leigh Whelan, 7 Benjamin Smales Braithwaite, 8 Lewis Hay, 9 Callum Murphy, 10 Scott Backhall, and 11 their captain Courtney Mepham Walters. The visitors' substitutes: number 12 Lewis Whittam, 14 Jake Cassidy, 15 Harvey Rowe, 16 Mark Lees, and 17 Lewis Gardner. And for Marine this afternoon, as I mentioned earlier, an unchanged side from last Saturday. So it will be number 1 Bailey Passant, 2 Josh Solomon Davis, 3 Joe Bunny, 4 Mark Howarth, 5 Will Johnson, 6 Johnny Spittle, 7 Ben Hodkinson, 8 the captain Charlie Doyle, 9 Louis Britton, 10 Sol Solomon, and 11 Jordan Lussey. Substitutes for Marine this afternoon: number 12 Sean Smith, 14 James Barrigan, 15 Lucas Weir, 16 Luke Clark, and 17 returning to the matchday squad is Kyle Haid. So I assume, Adam, it'll be a similar sort of setup what we saw at Atherton Collieries. Louis Britton leading the line with Sol Solomon and Ben Harkinson just either side of him.
Yeah, you'd think so. We've definitely, as a group, been more settled since we've gone to that 3 at the back formation. Obviously, Joe Bunny wasn't brought in to be a centre-back, but he's one of those versatile players that can play right across the pitch. But I think having Britton up front has really allowed those around him in the forward areas, especially Sol Solomon, to be able to play to their full potential, because Sol can't be up there on his own. He's not got the physicality to do that, so having someone like Britton there to help him out, to knock balls down for him, make some clever runs, and then Hodkinson on the right hand side, I think is going to really give us better chances than we've had in the weeks before those two joined.
So referee George Eaton just getting everything in check. It looks like we will be getting underway here. And ball is kicked off by Jordan Lussey back to Passant, who is a low kick forward. It's cut out early on by Leigh Whelan. Ball forward by Marino. Flicked on by Britton, who gets a shove in the back, but play continues. Lussey puts the challenge in and Howard hits the deck, and the referee does blow his whistle this time, but be a foul in the favour of Guiseley there.
I don't know how the ref's not seen that early on. I mean, obviously we've got a great view here, being right behind the Guiseley goal, but Britton's gone up for a header early on. He's got 2 hands in the back almost immediately. You know, he's a big lad. It takes a lot to push him over. So maybe it's one of those ones you think the referee early in the game doesn't want to give too many fouls too early, but then he goes and give a very similar foul just afterwards.
Kick forward by Cameron Mason. Headed in there by Charlie Doyle and hooked forward by Hodkinson now. Cleared forward by the captain Courtney Meppen-Walters. It's cut out by Joe Bunny, but guys are still with the ball coming forward here with Whelan. Ball into Murphy. Murphy gets a little touch on and he hits the deck, and big appeals from the Guiseley bench, but referee keeps his whistle in his pocket as Marine come forward now with Louis Britton. Taking on Isaac Ascenso, who cuts it out the danger well, and will come forward for Guiseley here. This ball forward is cut up by Joe Bunny and a throw-in for Guiseley. But a fair few shots for a penalty there, Adam.
Yeah, definitely, and they're surrounding the referee a little bit now. Obviously, it's at the far end of the pitch. We didn't get a particularly great view of it, but it looked a fairly strong challenge, so you've got to imagine he's won the ball in that situation.
Here comes the throw-in by Boateng. Headed in there by Backor, but it's cut out by Marine. Guys are still with the ball here, and the ball might have just gone out for a corner on that far side. It might be a throw-in. Can't quite tell from this angle. Boateng's the man who's gone over towards it, and it will be a throw-in right by the corner flag. Throw-in and flicked on by Guiseley's shirt. They've still got the ball here. Guiseley made a strong start to proceedings here at the MTA. Still come forward now with Murphy. His ball is cut out by Howarth. Howarth looking to clear it, and he's a bit slow in doing so, and his clearance is cut out. Ball out for a Marine throw-in.
Yeah, he took his time there, but I think, guys, you've set an early precedent, especially when that foul was given in the middle of the park just after the start of the game, where they want to get the ball down and play quickly. They're not going to be lumping it forward. They don't have much height up front. They want to be able to use this good surface and play football.
Bunny's throw-in was cut out, but the ball escapes again for another throw-in for the makeshift left back this afternoon. Buddy into the feet of Lucy and hooked forward now. Headed in there by Mercado. Guiseley come away with it now with Benjamin Smales-Braithwaite. Goes back to Mercado again. And coming forward now, Smales-Braithwaite, and it's cut out by Hodkinson on that far side for a Guiseley throw-in. Alejandro Piedrahita Mercado, if I'm saying that right, making his debut for Guiseley after signing from Real Madrid B, which is not a move I think many could say they've made, from sunny Madrid to a pretty rainy and cold Crosby this afternoon.
No, well, you know, you'd suspect that Guiseley don't have a particularly strong scouting network over in Spain, but obviously his signing suggests that they may have a few contacts over there.
Yeah, he's been thrown straight into the start 11 for them as Solomon hooks the ball clear for another throw into the visitors. About halfway inside Marine's half. Throw-in comes in and Charlie Dull hits the deck. Referee plays on as hook ball forward goes all the way back to Ascenso, and now back to goalkeeper Cameron Mason. Mason launches one forward and Spittle will win that. Flicked on by Charlie Dull now, and Hodkinson can gather things for Marine. His pass forward just couldn't quite find its way to Solomon, and a heavy challenge there by Bunny. Wins it forward and forward to Solomon now. Just about keeps the ball in play, and he's driving at Ascenso. Solomon cuts inside, looks to play a little ball in behind to Britton, but it's cut out well by Mercado. And the ball goes all the way back to Mason, who will launch this one forward for Guiseley once more. Headed in there by Lucy. Wins it again, and Hodkinson now looks to play Solomon Davis, who is forced back to Jordan Lucy. It looks like someone's shin pads have come off in the middle of the pitch, but play continues out. Ball forward looking for Hodkinson is cut out once more, and Meppen-Walters will just clear his lines for Guiseley.
I think the adverse conditions today, it's a bit cold, a little bit of wind in the air, as there always is here at the Marine Travel Arena, will probably suit us. You know, you just look at the sides, apart from Courtney Meppen-Walter, he looks like the only one physically who might be able to deal with our squad.
Solomon Davis's cross is won well in there by Meppen-Walter. Crossfield pass by Lucy, looking for Solomon, is easily collected by Lewis Hay, but he's forced back to Boateng now, and he hooks this one forward, cut out by Bunny. Ball now with Solomon Davis for Marine. Simon Davis looks to dink one over the top, looking for Hodkinson. Won well in there by Mercado, who's made a strong start to life in a Guiseley shirt. Mason kicks this one forward, looking for Hay. Heavy challenge in there by Bunny, and it's deemed a foul by referee George Eaton. Just going back to Guiseley's captain this afternoon, Courtney Mepham-Walters. I remember when he came here for Radcliffe in a cup game a few months back, and he was absolutely outstanding at the back for them.
Yeah, I couldn't remember which game it was, but I do remember seeing, I didn't think it was his first time at the Marine Travel Arena this season. I wasn't sure whether he'd been here as part of a cup game with Guiseley, but obviously very experienced centre-back, has been in and around the Football League in parts of his career. Obviously he's not in the best shape of his life, but he's still got that quality and, you know, nous of a Football League centre-back.
Well, he does look just one forward, the captain. Johnson misses the header, and it's hooked clear just about by Johnny Spittle. One in there by Daly. And the ball breaks for Boateng, who looks to cross first time, and it's a decent ball towards the penalty area, and it looks to break for Guiseley, and a shot comes in, and it's well blocked by Charlie Doyle. Marine player, I think it's Sol Solomon's at the deck, but play continues now with Boateng taking on Lussey. Ball comes in and cleared away, but Guiseley still with the ball, and Marine on the back foot here early on. Mepham-Walters out to Boateng, who's got forward well, and the ball comes in and flicked header towards goal. Is still in around the Marine box and eventually cleared in there. Sol Solomon of all people. And now Marine can break with Hodkinson coming forward. Nice ball through to Louis Britton, who's got Ascenso to take on. Britton puts a great ball in, looking for Hodkinson, and it's just slightly too in front of him. And the first real signs of attacking threat from Marine in this game.
Yeah, that's an area where we've been really good this season, breaking out. We've got a bit of pressure, quickly get up the field through Hodkinson and Britton. Hodkinson lays it out wide to Britton. Britton with a cross back in. Hodkinson, unfortunately, I think if he was Britton's size, might have been able to get on the end of it, but the cross was just too far in front of him. It's positive though, and it's a good warning sign for Guiseley, just to hit them in the throat a little bit. You know, they have a lot of sustained pressure, but that's the threat we can pose.
Goal kick, was taken, and eventually breaks for Murphy, flicks it on, and Marine come away with it for Hodkinson. He just chips in before Mercado, and does well to keep it in. Ben Hodkinson just looks to keep a bit of possession. Lussey ball forward to Britton. Lovely touch by Louis Britton. Back to Hodkinson. Looks to come inside, and maybe a break of communication between himself and Sol Solomon, and the visitors come forward with Boateng. Cut out by Bunny, which touches a bit heavy, and Guiseley will have a throw in just inside Marine's half. So Quayne Boateng with the ball at his hands, headed away by Charlie Doyle for another throw in. If you're just joining us, first 10 minutes here, still Marine 0, Guiseley 0. Guiseley starting the game on the front foot, but Marine having a half chance there coming forward with Ben Hodkinson, who had a bit of a quiet game by his standards last week at Atherton Collieries, but it didn't matter in the end, with the Mariners picking up that 1-0 victory, with Louis Britton scoring a brilliant goal on the day. And now Bailey Passon has a goal kick. We'll launch this one forward, not looking for anyone, as it's cut out by Mepham-Walters and hooked forward by Joe Bunny. Mepham-Walters there again to head clear. Flicked on forward, and the ball will break now, looking for Lewis Hay, taking on Joe Bunny. Hay comes inside a bit too easily, and it's well cleared in there by Will Johnson. Back to Hay, who just let the ball run out for the first corner of the game. But Guiseley, despite being winless in 4 games, looks very dangerous in the opening proceedings here at the MTA. We've got a corner here that Hay will take into the box, headed away by Howarth, but only as far as Daly. Will hook this one back in, looking for, I think it was Ascenso in there. Solomon does well just to shrug off Mercado. Will come forward for Marino. Oh, this pass looking for Hodkinson. Just clips the back of his foot, unfortunately, for the forward. And another throw for Quain Boating to take on the halfway line. Boating launches one down the line. Cut out by Bunny and hooked forward. Flicked on by Hodkinson well. And here's Louis Britton now looking to just hold the ball up for Marine. He looks to get pulled back. I wasn't sure if the referee was going to give that one, but he has. Rightly so. And Marine will just take a breather after a fairly lengthy spell of defending.
I think what Britain offers to this side is, because he is that physical presence that defenders have to deal with him a little bit differently. They have to be more physical with him, so he's going to win more free kicks in those areas where it is a bit more 50-50.
Johnson with the free kick. Well won in there by Charlie Dill. Solomon looks to lay it off for Hodkinson, but it's well cut out by Mercado. And I think Charlie Dill might have just left one on the new man. Welcome him into English football.
Yeah, a bit of a welcome to Crosby there from Charlie Doyle to the Real Madrid man.
I'm sure it won't be the last you'll see of Charlie Dill this afternoon. But Marine with a throw in, just creeping inside the Guiseley half. Bunny falls back to Johnson and now squared to Spittle. Spittle out wide to Solomon Davis, who's the first real time coming forward in this game. It's a big challenge in there by Mercado, but Solomon Davis still with the ball for Marine. Physical battle in there, the two full-backs. So Solomon Davis able to put a cross in. It's a poor one and easily cut out by Mep and Walters. But back to Josh Solomon Davis now. Lays it back to Lussey. First time cross is missed by Asenso and comes all the way out wide on the left-hand side to Britton. It's forced back to Johnson, who's making his way forward for Marine. Looks to play Mark Howarth in behind, but cut out well. But Johnson with a meaty challenge in there to win inside the ball back there brilliantly. Earned himself the commentary man of the match against Atherton Collieries. Excellent debut performance by the 18-year-old. Solomon looks to take on Boateng the first time in this game. It's forced back to Bunny. And now Lussey. Switched out nicely to Solomon Davis. He's got some time and space to drive into. Lays it in behind to Hodkinson in a dangerous position from Marine. Hodkinson with the cut back, and it's deflected by Mep and Walters into the goalkeeper, Mason. And eventually hooked clear by Guiseley, but Ben Hodkinson looks to be the danger man early on for Marine here.
Yeah, they're lucky that didn't take a slightly different deflection, went straight at the keeper. But it's good play again, sustained pressure. It's my first time seeing William Johnson playing for Marine. But he's got a lot of similar traits to the man he's probably came in to replace in Alex Earle. He's very calm on the ball, looks assured and confident when going forward with the ball. And that all started from him winning the ball back, retaining the ball. Eventually got out to Solomon Davies, who played a nice ball into Hodkinson. Unfortunately, just wasn't enough power to really get a bad deflection on it, but a good time in the game for Marine.
Jordan Lussey now with the ball in his hands, and these kind of weather conditions, you think this would be his kind of setting for the long throw. There's a bit of push and shove between the two captains, and Lussey throws it back to Johnson. Johnson with a nice ball hooking into Solomon, and it's spilled by Cameron Mason, but he does well to deal with it in the end and wants to get things back underway quickly with a ball out wide to back up. But it's cut out well by Will Johnson, on loan from Fleetwood until the end of the season. It certainly looks like he's been playing all season the way he's slotted into that Marine back four alongside Johnny Spittle.
Yeah, it just looks like he's got a head and a footballing brain that's older than his age, really. I think that he looks, as I said, got those similar qualities of Alex Earle, even though they are both young lads, just having that quality on the ball and confidence.
Well, there's a decision here as referee points in favour of a Marine free kick. Challenge by Isaac Asensio on Louis Britton. It wasn't approved by the visiting bench. The referee just having a word with Asensio. It was a good chance for Marine to put a delivery into the box with Joe Bunny and Sol Solomon over the ball. You think it'd be the latter to put the delivery in here?
You'd hope so. Although, to be fair, situations, I mean, Joe Bunny's not one known for taking free kicks, and maybe like to see Jordan Lussey over there just to give a different option instead of, whipping the ball towards the keeper, whipping it away from him slightly.
Well, if anything, you think you want to see Joe Bunny in the box causing trouble, but he is going to leave this one for Solomon. Poor delivery and cleared not very well by Boateng, but Mepham Walters just shrugging away Spittle, and Spittle puts her foot in and appeals for a corner, waved away by referee George Eaton. Points for a goal kick. Just over a quarter of an hour into this game. Marine 0, Guiseley 0. Let's see either keeper make a real save. A Marine chance of a deflection almost crept into the Guiseley net, but it wasn't to be. The ball forward is dealt with well by Alejandro Mercado, who's made a decent start so far. Ball forward now is heavy challenge by Johnny Spittle, and it will be a free kick for Guiseley. I think he did just catch Callum Murphy, it might have been, on that far side. A sliding challenge. And just a bit of push and shove. I don't think the Guiseley players are too happy with the challenge from Spittle, and wonder if this will just be a warning from the referee. I don't think it will be. I think it'll be the first booking of the afternoon for Johnny Spittle, who's never shy of finding himself in the referee's notebook, but after 18 minutes, I think it could be a difficult afternoon for him. So Johnny Spittle, first man named in the book this afternoon, and it will be a free kick now for Lewis Hay to put a delivery in with both centre backs in around the Marine box, and it's dinked in by Hay, punched away by Passon a little bit unconvincingly, but eventually cleared. Hodkinson now coming forward, but defended well by Boateng and hit forward by Mason. Headed in there by Spittle, but the linesman's flag on that far side has gone up for an offside.
Confident keeping from Bailey is what you like to see. When it was floating into the box, I was thinking it looks like he maybe wasn't going to come and try and punch it away or collect it, but good decisive goalkeeping there, because I think if he hadn't, we might have been in a bit of trouble with potential knockdown.
So passing over this one. Forwards the ball, looking for Charlie Doyle, and won well in there by Smales Braithwaite. Ball forward by Lussey, looking for Hodkinson. It's a good one. Hodkinson just about keeps the ball in play. Looking to lay it off, but he comes back inside on his right foot and puts a ball in, and it's miskicked by Mepham Walters, and Solomon looking to get the ball off the centre half. He does really well once more. Heavy challenge in there by Charlie Doyle, wins Marine a free kick.
As much as we said Mepham Walter, I talked about earlier his Football League experience, he's had a few miscues in this game. Maybe it's just because the pitch is a bit greasy, but another miscued clearance there and more chances for Marine.
Solomon Davis with the throw to Doyle. Doyle flung to the deck, and a few appeals from Marine fans, waved away by referee Veaton. Didn't look too much in it on the challenge. I think Doyle made it seem a little bit worse than it was, and that's why play will go on. The throw in forward by Mercado. One in there, and I think the referee's just come back for a foul on Doyle. Marine with a free kick.
Yeah, Doyle, I think there would have done extremely, extremely well to have won a penalty there, as Guiseley look to be lining up at least one change.
Yeah, it does look like an early substitution for Guiseley. It doesn't look to be anyone in too much discomfort in a Maroon shirt, but looks to be number 15, Harvey Rowe, who's stripped and ready to come onto the pitch.
I wonder whether that may be for Courtney Mepham Walter, who was standing with his hands on his hips just now.
Throwing come on towards Britain. It's dribbled out by Daly and challenging there by Doyle. Goes out for the Guiseley throwing. And the substitution will happen here. It will be Harvey Rowe. Just seeing which man he will replace. Not too sure who that is. It looks to be number 8. Or number 3, sorry. So yeah, just confirming there it is number 3, Alejandro Ricardo, whose debut was cut short. He's walking off the pitch, not too much discomfort, but he is the man to come off. And Harvey Rowe will take his place. And an early change for Guiseley as they come forward now, cut out well by Mark Howarth though, and launched forward by Johnson. Headed in there by Ascento for a Marine throw-in, halfway inside the visiting half.
Unless there's an issue with Machado that maybe he was having to deal before the game. I know they chucked on some sort of sock tape to him, so maybe he has been dealing with something, but God, I would not be happy if I was him. You know, you've come all the way here from Spain, probably to play regular football, to come off after just over 20 minutes. Got to wonder why that is.
Throw taken and play comes back to Johnson, who squares it to Lussey. He's in a deep position for Marine. Out wide to Solomon Davis now. Takes on his man and looks to put it across him, but he comes back and a nice ball inside to Hodkinson. And now Howarth, heavy touch that makes his pass a tricky one to find, and is cut out and cleared with Spittle with a man on his back, and he just about comes away with the ball, Johnny Spittle. I don't think he knew too much about that one, but comes away with it and plays a lovely ball out wide now to Hodkinson, who's looked sharp in this opening 25 minutes, but on this occasion it's shepherded out well by Quain Boateng.
I think Hodkinson's got to know there, he favours his left foot, it's his preferred foot, and he's got to know that Solomon Davies will want to be bombing along outside of him. I think in that situation you've got to know to cut back, just to leave all that options open, because when he goes down the line on his right foot, it sort of brings Solomon Davies out the game. Then the two defenders, it only needed Boateng, but the two defenders can then focus on Hodkinson.
Goal kick flicked on and won in there by Howard now to Britain. Forward ball by Doyle, and it's Hodkinson, and Hodkinson's an on goal for Marine. Great challenge in there by, I think it's a substitute, Harvey Rowe. Lovely ball forward by Charlotte Doyle. Hodkinson looked to be one-on-one. Great recovery block in there by Rowe, and it will be a Marine corner.
Yeah, great defending there from, was it the substitute who made that challenge? I mean, what a way to introduce yourself to the game, but Hodkinson's got to be scoring there. I think if he stays too wide for me there, you know his left foot is his preferred foot, he should come back inside, a bit more central, so he's got both sides of the goal to aim for. Realistically, having Rowe coming across him there, he only really had the goalkeeper's near side to aim for, but Rowe got across anyway.
Solomon with the corner. Flicked on by Cameron Mason towards Johnny Spittle, who just comes away with the ball, looking for an option, is forced back all the way to Bailey Passon, in fact. Passon launches this one back where it came from. It's going to go to Joe Bunny, who chests it down well. Marine pressured back well by number 6, Leigh Whelan, but come forward now with Solomon Davis. Lussey, who's sat fairly deep in this game, in that hole where Solomon Davis looks to push on. And Marine with a throw-in now. Solomon Davis into Britton, who's having a fair tussle with Mepham Walters. And a forward ball by Benjamin Sales Braithwaite is cut out by Doyle, and Guiseley will have a throw-in. They're on just over 25 minutes gone in this first half. Remains Marine 0, Guiseley 0. Throw-in for Rowe. Flicked on by Murphy and cut out there by Marine. As Solomon's back pass, I think it just wasn't pounced on by Scott Backhaw, and fortunately for Marine, his kick forwards won in there by the Guiseley skipper, but only as far as Solomon Davis. Chip ball forward is blocked and will be a Marine throw-in just inside Guiseley's half. There still looks to be a little bit of activity on that Guiseley bench, with one of the players going through the motions of stretching. I'm not sure if he'll be coming on just yet, but certainly look to be doing something back there. As a throw-in's taken and won in there by Lussey towards Britton, who goes to put a cross in, and it's blocked by Boateng, who wanted the offside flag, but it never came. And there'll be another corner for Solomon to take. Or Solomon and Bunny just having a word. I think Bunny was thinking maybe he could try and put a little in-swinger for this one, but Solomon will go over and put another delivery in.
This is a situation where you maybe want the likes of a Sean Smith on the pitch just to have that option of a left footer to whip the ball in.
Solomon's corner into the near post, headed away by Rowe, but only as far as Hawkinson. Back out wide to Solomon. Solomon closed down, but puts a lovely cross in, and it's challenged by Spittle, but well held by goalkeeper Cameron Mason, who had to claim that ball. Did really well in the slippery conditions just to keep hold of the ball there. And the goalkeeper will drop kick this one forward. High ball. Challenge in there by Spittle, and Solomon Davis will come away with this one. Driving into the Guiseley half, his pass is a poor one. A heavy challenge in there by Hawkinson. Can't quite keep the ball for Marine, but a poor pass in there means that it'll be a throw for the Lily Whites. Solomon Davis with the ball in his hands. He's just waiting for Jordan Lussey, but instead goes for the option of Johnny Spittle. And Johnson is forced back all the way to goalkeeper Passant now. Passant just forcing Britton over to this right hand side. And ball goes forward now, and it's flicked on well by the striker into the path of Hawkinson, and a challenge in there by Ascenso. It's kept alive by Britton, who puts the cross in, and it's cleared away well by Mepper Walters, aiming for the window of house number 22. Just missed it that time. But Jordan Lussey, who I don't think we've seen him put one long throw in yet in this game. It's a bit of a surprise. But he has got the ball in his hands, and you think a long one will come in this time. And it does. It's a poor one, and it's headed away. Cut out though by Howarth, but hooked away by Boateng. Passant's coming out for this one and deals with it well. A lovely ball actually towards Doyle, headed again by Boateng. Lussey's slow to react to that one. Just a bit scrappy in there from both sides, as forward ball by Smales Braithwaite is clearly offside. I think he knew that one as soon as it left his foot.
I think it's quite brave of us, especially on a throw, and we've got a lot of men in the box to go man for man, leaving 2v2 at the halfway line there, because Passant had to rush out well, and obviously a good clearance to keep it in play. But it's definitely a risky option.
Passant's kick forward. Nice, it's played out to Doyle. Lussey hooks it first time, looking for the run of Solomon, and Solomon chests it down, and the ball just skids away from him into the grasps of Mason. But Marine certainly coming forward in their numbers in the last 10 or 15 minutes or so after a strong start by Guiseley. Just yet to find that opening goal of the game. And ball now with Spittle into the feet of Johnson. Johnson skips past a couple Marine shirts and plays a ball out wide to Lussey, who plays it forward now to Solomon Davis, with a bit of space ahead of him. Solomon Davis looked to play a 1-2 of Hawkinson, but he goes back to Lussey. Nice ball now inside with Doyle. Back to Lussey. Lucy skips past a challenge, and Doyle's just waiting for a run from a white shirt. His pass is cut out and headed away, but almost broke again for Lucy. Well blocked in there by today's captain, Charlie Doyle, who's got about the pitch almost every blade of grass as he does week in, week out. A bit of space now for Solomon Davis to drive into. Cuts back again. Yet to really see him take on a man, as he does so well. A poor pass now by Bunny is helpfully tackled in there by Solomon. And Marine come with the ball again. Poor pass this time by Spittle is cut out, and Guiseley will break now. And it's Smales Braithwaite coming forward for Guiseley. The pass comes inside and it's cleared away well by Howarth in the end, but a fair chance there for the visitors, with I think a few appeals on the earlier challenge when they were breaking away, but ball yet to lead the pitch, so we won't find out just yet if that will be a card. With the ball past its gloves, looking to launch this one forward, and he does, looking for Doyle. Ball now with Hodkinson. Nice reverse pass into Britton, and the ball now for Hodkinson, who's got a man on his back, and it's a fair challenge by Boateng. I think he might have just slipped when he made the challenge, but luckily both players come away unscathed, and the resulting outcome is another Marine throw-in. Again, it will be Solomon Davis, with the option of Jordan Lussey not being used. Just waiting for a runner, and he finds it with Doyle. Doyle with a man on his back, and he's done well just to keep the ball in play, but it comes out for another Marine corner.
I think in this time of the game we just need to use the possession that we've had, because at the moment guys you seem pretty happy to sit back, let us have the ball, so we need to get the ball out wide to our creative players, and I think Hodkinson could probably stay a bit wider and just stretch the pitch a little bit to give a bit more space to Britton, because he's coming inside, drifting inside, but Britton's not drifting into his position, so there's a bit of congestion through the middle of the pitch at the moment.
There will be a left footer on this one. It's going to be Ben Hodkinson who swings the ball in, and it's missed everyone in the box and broke at the back post here for Solomon. Take it on Hay. His cross is blocked, and I think it will just be cleared forward, and it is by Lewis Hay. But hooked forward by Lussey now to Hodkinson. Poor pass now, and it's found its way to Scott Backer, who looks to be in, but it's well challenged in there by Will Johnson, who had to get back with a forward ball, almost playing Scott Backer one-on-one with Bailey passing there, but good defending by Marine. Though Guiseley will have a corner because of that, and Lewis Hay once more going over to put the delivery in. So Courtney Meppen-Walters just finding his way into the penalty area here. Looking to get his head on this corner as it's delivered in. Headed away well by Charlie Doyle. Only as far as Lewis Hay, swings it in again. It's headed away again by a Marine shirt, and a bit of a tussle there between Louis Britton and Leigh Whelan. Results in a Marine free kick. Ball coming forward now with Spittle. Looking for the run of Hodkinson, who gets ahead to it, but it's going to be booted clear by Meppen-Walters. Johnson will just flick that one back to Passon. The game just having a sting taken out of it a little bit in this last few minutes. A bit scrappy by both sides. I've just seen another wayward pass go out in favour for Marine.
Yeah, I think some of the players are struggling with conditions. I mean, 4G and 3G pitches are fast enough to play on, but when it's greasy and slippery like it is today, it's hard for some players to keep up with the pace of the game. So it's easier just to, play long and be direct.
Yeah, lost again by Marine, but challenging there by Johnson isn't one, and Marine and Guiseley will come forward. Johnson did just tug back the shirt of, I think it was Scott Backholt, breaking forward, who's lost a boot in the process. But another free kick for Guiseley, and you do think in a game like this, the set pieces could be the way to break the deadlock. Just getting his boot back on Scott Backholt. A little bit unimpressed with the challenge, but will be a free kick that Lewis Hay is over once more. Hay with an in-swinger, headed away by, I think it was Howarth. Ball comes in again, headed away by Spittle this time. And Marine eventually get it clear with Solomon Davis towards Louis Britton now. He can drive forward. His pass is a poor one, but fortunately breaks into the path of Ben Hodkinson. Comes inside, looking for that pass, and he's just lacking of the runners here. And the pass by Howarth is cut out for Marine throw-in.
It's good sort of, classic Solomon play there, just being in and around the situation. Ball from Britton gets cleared and eventually falls to him. He plays first time out to Hodkinson. Hodkinson gets out to the left, and Howarth, I get he's holding off, so gives Hodkinson the room. But if he overlaps him, it gives Hodkinson more options to get past the defender.
Bunny now comes with a delivery, and it's cleared poorly by Ascenso. The cross wasn't a great one by Joe Bunny, who's not really got forward at all in this game, but a poor clearance gives Marine a chance to put a better delivery in here with a corner.
It was almost like Henri's pass where he played it with his right foot, came off his left.
So, approaching the last 5 or so minutes plus stoppage time of this first half. Can Marine squeeze a late goal in the first 45? And Solomon corner, it's a good one. It's headed clear by that man Courtney Mepham Walters. Straight out play for a throw to the hosts. Joe Bunny just going over to take this throw in. Has a lack of options in front of him. Only Solomon across there, but Charlie Dill's making his way over and gets the ball from Bunny. Bunny brings it down, and the challenge in there by Daly is cleared forward, but not too far as Doyle just a little shove in the back of Scott Backer, a cheap free kick. An easy decision for the referee. So just approaching the last 5 or so minutes in this first half, Adam, what do you think Marine need to do to break this deadlock?
I think they just need to be more committed when they're going forward. We're getting in decent positions, but oftentimes we don't have enough players in the box. To be honest, it's my first game in a few. I've missed the last few. As someone goes down there, I think it must be a dive. Surely getting a book in here.
Yeah, it was a strange one there. No complaints by the player. We were just waiting to see who it actually was. He took a tumble in the box. The referee has deemed it as a dive. Shown a yellow card swiftly. And Marine with the free kick now. Barely passing to take. I think it was Scott Backall who took the tumble in the box and received the yellow card for his troubles. A few penalty shouts in this first half. None given by George Eaton.
Yeah, I don't think any of them are particularly controversial.
I think it's just a slip of the throw in there by Harvey Rowe. The conditions affecting him as it still continues to rain here at the MTA. Ball hooked forward by Hodkinson, straight out into the away dugout.
Yeah, going back to what I was saying, I just think we need to be more committed in getting men forward. As I said, this is my first game back watching Marine. in a week or two, and it's a slightly different setup with Bunny at left back and Johnson at centre back, Howarth back in the team in midfield. So I think we might be able to make some changes at half time. I'd maybe like to see
the ball just going forward here with Lewis Hay, and a cross comes in, and it's a vital toe in there by Jordan Lussey, with Guiseley still a man on the deck, and the referee will halt it now with a head injury. I think maybe just a knock in there. I think it's number 9, Callum Murphy, who's just getting back to his feet steadily. But yeah, you do look at that Marine bench as only Sean Smith, James Barrigan, Lucas Weir, Luke Clark and Kyle Hayes. You'd think not too many players coming on in forward areas. I mean, you could see Sean Smith possibly coming on and Jay Bunny get pushed further up the pitch, but apart from that, you'd think the front three would stay pretty much the same in the 90 minutes.
I don't think there's many changes we can make in terms of obviously the front three. Obviously, yeah, as you mentioned, you could push Bunny forwards, but I think Bunny at left back is he's just not offering much going forward. Or Sean Smith likes to get forward and bomb on. You could even maybe bring off one of the midfielders. You maybe bring off like a Mark Howarth, bring on Sean Smith for him, and then put Bunny into a back three. Give him Solomon Davies and Smith those room to run into.
Good forward there by Lussey, chested down by Solomon. Solomon looks to take on his man and will come in on it right foot. Cross is blocked by Hay, and it's going to be another Marine corner.
So it's in those situations there where Sean Smith would have been bombing forward, and it would give Solomon more of an option to cut in on his right, because he had two men surrounding him. Eventually he just had to try and force the cross.
Solomon over the corner once more. Swings this one in, and it's a decent delivery onto the head of Johnny Spittle. Just slightly too high for centre half. He got a clean connection with the header. It was always rising. But again, those deliveries by Solomon always dangerous. And you think possibly an aspect where Marine could improve on was more goals from the set pieces, especially with the set piece takers we've got around the club. Goal kick taken, won by Howarth, and a missed kick by Mepham Walters breaks to Britton, and a lovely ball by Britton now to Hodkinson. Hodkinson wants to cut it on his left foot but drives with his right, and a cross is a poor one. Just that final ball missing from Marine in this first half. Looked to be a foul by Johnny Spittle, but the game continues, and a cross comes in, and looking for Louis Britton, but easily claimed by Cameron Mason.
Yeah, those two situations there where Hodkinson's crossed it, Spittle's crossed it. Only two players in the box are Britton and Solomon. I know they're your two most forward players, but you'd like to see maybe Charlie Doyle being able to get forward a bit more with two other midfielders alongside him, have a bit more freedom.
Solomon Davis now with a lovely ball into the feet of Hodkinson. Hodkinson comes inside, gets past Mepham Walters, fires a shot, and it was going wide, but the deflection gives Marine another chance of a corner. Good again by Ben Hodkinson. I think he's been possibly the best player in a Marine shirt in this game so far, looking to attack every time he gets the ball.
Yeah, he had the option to find Britton there, but I think it would have been a tight pass. I don't mind him driving out the defence there. I think the shot probably, luckily for us, was deflected because I think it was going wide. Another great chance here for Sol to whip in a dangerous cross.
Well, he found Spittle on the last one. Can he find him again here with a low one this time? The ball breaks there to Mark Howarth, and Mark Howarth breaks the deadlock on the cusp of half time. Solomon's corner seemed to miss everyone in a white shirt, and in the 45th minute Mark Howarth gives Marine the lead.
Yeah, it's probably not one of Solomon's best corners this game, but it meets a man at the front post. I'm not sure whether it was a Marine one or a Guiseley one, flicked on towards Mark Howarth at the back post, who, to be fair to him, finished really well considering he didn't have much to aim at. Right into the bottom hand corner. We lead at 45 minutes. It's a great time to score. Puts us in a brilliant position to go into half time, as long as there's no quick goals between now and the referee's whistle.
Yeah, I'd say there hasn't been too much in it in this first half, but Marine found that all-important goal there just before the half-time whistle. And games like this, those are the kind of goals you need, as I was mentioned, goals off set pieces. And there we have one, and there is the half-time whistle. What a time to score for Marine. Mark Howarth's goal in the 45th minute, the difference here at the MT8. So we're going into the half-time break. Marine 1, Guiseley 0. You can join us again in 15 minutes for the second 45. Then we can rejoin us then in 15 minutes. Welcome back to coverage from the Marine Travel Arena. We approach the second half. Stands Marine 1, Guiseley 0. A late goal at the end of the half by Mark Howarth at the back post, following a Sol Solomon corner. I'm joined this afternoon by Adam Tiffin. Adam, what do you make of that first half?
I think overall we probably, I wouldn't say we deserved to be ahead, but we definitely had more control of the game, some better chances. I can't think of any time where Bailey was tested, but I think there's definitely areas to build on. I think we could be more aggressive when we're going forward, get more players in the box. Looks like there's no changes to the lineup, maybe some tactical changes from Neil Young, but you can understand why if he's not made any changes, why he's let them go on with their business, whereas it looks like Guiseley look like they're going to be making a change at number 12. Witham looks like he might be coming on.
Yeah, so it is Marine 1, Guiseley 0. As the players come back onto the pitch, I will just run you through the scorelines in other games. It is Atherton Collieries 1, FC United Manchester 0, Bamber Bridge 1, Stafford Rangers 0, Gainsborough Trinity 2, Warrington Rylands 0. Here is Marine 1, Guiseley 0, Nantwich Town 1, Lancaster City 1, Bradcliffe 0, Hyde United 0. A big one at Stalybridge Celtic as they lead South Shields by 3-1. And finally it's Whitby Town 3, Matlock Town 0. So that's a positive result there for Marine. Matlock Town 3-0 down at Whitby, which is where we'll travel in a few weeks' time. Marine remain in 7th position as things stand. We're just about to get things back underway for the second half. I will just run you through Marine's team. I think there is going to be a quick change for Guiseley. It's actually going to be number 15, Harvey Rowe. So Harvey Rowe has come off for Lewis Whitten. Harvey Rowe replaced Alejandro Macado in that first half, and now he's been substituted himself. So 2 substitutions used up by the visitors as we get the game back underway here. Marine's team is Bailey Passant, number 1. Number 2, Josh Solomon Davis. 3 is Joe Bunny. 4, Mark Howarth, the goal scorer. 5, Will Johnson. 6 is Johnny Spittle. 7, Ben Hodkinson. 8, the captain this afternoon, Charlie Doyle. 9, Louis Britton. 10, Sol Solomon. And number 11 is Jordan Lussey. Guiseley now coming forward from a throw-in. The ball with captain Courtney Mepham-Walters, who first time dinks it in. Won well in there by Johnson, but Marie Guiseley still with the ball here. As a shot comes in and it's gone through the legs of Lussey, but well held by Bailey Passant. In conditions like this, you have to be firm with those saves, and he's not had to make many in this game, but did his job there. Yeah.
Pretty simple save for somebody of Bailey's quality. Obviously it came through a bit of a crowd, so we saw it a little bit late as we get a free kick here. I did notice at the end of the first half that Rowe did look a bit leggy, he looked like a bit hobbly. I think it was around one time we won one of the corners, so obviously some problems at full-back position for Guiseley. Already 2 or 3 changes made, it's going to hamper them later in the game.
Free kick put in by Lussey is challenge in there. I think it will be a free kick. I think it was Charlie Doyle who's always puts his body on the line to win the ball, and did so whilst fouling goalkeeper Cameron Mason on that occasion. And the goalkeeper has a free kick for his side. As the rain continues to pour here at the MTA this afternoon. That goal on half-time by Mark Howarth could prove vital in the outcome of this game. Certainly changed things in the team talk for both sides, as I think a head clash in the middle of the pitch between Guiseley's Ross Daly and Marine's Charlie Doyle. I think both players are just getting back to their feet now. Doyle will be okay following the knock, and Guiseley have had a free kick because of it. Walters over this one. Dicks this one in, headed away by Johnson. And Doyle will hook it forward. It's a poor clearance, but it's bounced nicely for Lucy, and a lovely ball through to Hodkinson. Maybe just a tad too much on the ball as it ran to Hodkinson, who been challenged by Mepham Walters, who seems bemused by the challenge. I think it was a foul, and I think the guys who skipper will collect a yellow card for his troubles. So the captain, Courtney Mepham Walters, finds himself in the referee's notebook. Bit of a needless challenge, you'd have to say, with Hodkinson seemingly going nowhere, but good chance here for Marine.
Yeah, you think of somebody of Mort's quality to be able to shepherd him and hold him up a little bit until reinforcements arrived, but I wouldn't even say it's a frustrated challenge, I just think it's a poor one.
Hodkinson over this one, and a low delivery is clear, but still in the box, and Mepham Walters gets his head to it, and a shot comes in. I think it was Charlie Dill possibly who took on the effort, and it's deflected wide for a corner. Johnny Spittle just on the deck here for Marine, maybe taking a knock in that pattern of play. I think it will be okay. Spittle just holding his left shoulder, returning to his feet, and Hodkinson again with delivery, this time a bit further out the corner. Puts this one in, headed again away by Mepham Walters for a Marine throw-in. Solomon Davis down the line and marking the run of Britain. Tries to lay it back to Solomon Davis, but a challenge in there deflects out for another Marine corner. Marine on the front foot to start the second half, Adam.
Yeah, definitely on the front foot. It's sort of the way we ended the first half, we start the second half, which is always a good thing, because at half time you could lose a bit of focus, but it's good to see the lads have came out firing and aggressive.
Hodkinson on this delivery again headed away by Courtney Mepham Walters. He does his job so well, one of those defensive headers, and guys who can break it. Flick on by Backcourt, cleared by Johnson. Challenging there by Hodkinson, who's had an impressive game in a Marine shirt. And Spittle looking to play it first time, who's not walking too freely, the centre half.
Centre half's pass. Definitely centre half's pass.
Yeah, it was straight out of play on that far side, and a bit of pressure here on the goalkeeper, charged down by Louis Britton. Just about got the clearance away. Only as far as Howarth now. Heavy challenge in there by Leigh Whelan. Just a free kick, I assume, as Howarth hit the deck. But again, Marine, a set piece opportunity. After a spell of deliveries by Ben Hodkinson, it does look like Sol Solomon will return on free kick duty here for an in-swinger. Joe Bunny leaves it, and Solomon with a wicked ball in, headed again away by Mepham Walters. Well, now how many times I said that this afternoon. Challenging there by Solomon Davis will award Guiseley a throw-in. Guiseley already made 2 out of their possible 3 substitutions. Still a little bit of activity on that bench with players warming up. Luke Clark also down there warming up for Marine.
This looks like a bit of concern for Britton here as he's gone down. I didn't see if there was any contact made or whether he's just pulled up, but we do have reinforcements with the likes of Bunny. He can move up, and obviously Sean Smith could come on. But this doesn't look good. Just
looking down on the bench, it looks like James Barragan, trusty substitution of late, will be the man stripped and ready to come on, as it does look like Louis Britton's day is up. Unfortunately for him, after such a great performance last Saturday at Afton Collieries, and without an abundance of forwards on the bench, it could be a long second half for Marine. So just confirmation there, Louis Britton hobbling off for James Barragan. So you do wonder what the system for Marine will be now. Solomon looks to be the man down the middle. maybe a 4-4-1-1 kind of formation we might see here.
Yeah, I'm surprised that Bunny's not moved forward, especially since James Barragan can play that that role of left back. So surprised not to see Barragan move back and Bunny move forward. Someone's down here and looks like it might be a bit
Charlie
serious.
Doyle again in the wars, throwing his head where it hurts, and he's picked up a head injury once more. It will just be a drinks break as Doyle receives some treatment here. Just looking across the other games, Nantwich Town have taken a 2-1 goal lead against Lancaster City in the early stages of the second half there. But here at the MTA it remains 1-0 to the Mariners. That goal by Mark Howard on the cusp of half time. Charlie Doyle still holding his head, but he's made his way onto the sidelines. Maybe a bit additional treatment required. Not the only casualty, with Louis Britton hobbling back into the dugouts behind us, in front of us, sorry. Game back underway, and a questionable kick there by Passon on the opposite side of the pitch to where all other players on the pitch were, straight out of play. Guiseley get the game back underway. A long ball looking for Backall. One in there by Bunny. Guiseley come with it again now with Daly. Square ball into Mepham Walters under a bit of pressure by Hodkinson. It comes forward. Plays a crossfield pass looking for Scott Backall. It's gone straight out of play from Marine throwing. Doyle still receiving treatment on that sideline.
Yeah, Louis Britton just walks past the fans in front of us, looking very sad, looks like, especially with 10 games to go. Looks like a non-contact injury, so potentially could be the end of his season, and I know he's had issues with injuries before joining Marine, so very sad for him, especially since he had quite a good start to his time at Marine. Hopefully he can, it's not too serious, but from his facial expression there, doesn't look great for the lad.
Yeah, it seems to be one game goes by and another player added to the injury list for Marine, with ridiculous number of players on there. We've seen both Jack Dunn and Freddie Price with ACL injuries. Craig Curran still yet to return to the matchday squad. Charlie Dill still receiving treatment on a head injury. It's harming Marine with him playing with a man down for the past few minutes. Play will go on, and a throw-in one in by Solomon Davis. Daly switch of play to Sento coming forward now. And here's Smales Braithwaite into substitute Whittam. Comes inside the Marine box and looks to put a cross in, blocked in there by Lussey. And Guiseley will have their first corner of the second half.
Yeah, it's clearly hurting us. Obviously, that Charlie Doyle is still off. Helpful that Barragan came on as a substitute to provide a bit more energy rather than a Sean Smith, but
corner taken quickly short, and a terrible, terrible cross has found its way onto the head of a supporter instead of the head of a player in maroon. Wasted opportunity for the visitors there. Now Bailey Passant's taken a seat on the deck. Not too sure what problem is here for the Marine keeper. Maybe just letting the game go by, hoping Charlie Dill will be able to return. Still being bandaged up, it looks like. Lucas Weir and Luke Clark going through the motions in case Doyle's day is run here, but he's determined to come back on the pitch, as you'd imagine.
Bailey's kicking has been a bit off today, so I mean, obviously he might have been stretching out his hamstring just to allow for a bit more time, but he has been not his usual self with his distribution today.
Spittle, poor clearance now, cut out by Hay, well in there by Jordan Lussey. Lovely ball forward by Howarth, looking for Solomon. Solomon on his own here for Marine, looking to come inside on his right, but he looks to skip for a challenge. But Senso gets the better of him this time. And I think it'll be a free kick in Guiseley's favour. Following that, Charlie Dill has eventually returned back onto the pitch with a bandage head.
It was a really good ball from Howarth, that, but unfortunately Soldiers didn't have enough help up front.
Lussey will lob forward, flicked on nicely by Solomon, and Hodkinson looking to pounce on the through ball, but the judged offside. So just coming up to the hour mark at the Marine Travel Arena, remains Marine 1, Guiseley 0. Mark Harris goal on the break of half time, the difference here. Ball flicked on by Murphy, hooked clear by Lussey. Won in there by Barragan, who brings it down and looks to play in behind Solomon, but the ball just runs away from the forward, and Guiseley will have a throw in halfway inside their own half. Stafford Rangers got themselves a goal back at Bamber Bridge, which is good news for Marine, looking to push themselves into the playoff mix, with Matlock Town also pulling a goal back away at Whitby Town. Play back underway here with Solomon Davis coming forward. Skips past the challenge of Daly, but loses out back to Boateng, and this ball forward's a poor one. Would have thought keeping the ball and possession might have been a better option for Guiseley there, but give the ball away cheaply.
I mean, Guiseley aren't too far behind Marine in the table. Obviously, there's a points discrepancy as well as us having a few games in hand, but God, they've been poor today when they're going forward. First sort of 15 minutes, they had a bit more control and looked like they were going to be a decent footballing side, but they've just really struggled this game to play any sort of string of passes.
Late challenge in there by Bunny. I think the referee will play advantage here. Ball brilliantly cut out by Will Johnson, who's had quite a game the last Saturday, but still been very solid, you have to say, at the back. Ball forward, nicely to Solomon Davis now. He's got Smales Braithwaite on his back and is forced back to Spittle, and Spittle fortunately kicks the ball into the hands of Ross Daly. It was another poor clearance by Johnny Spittle. Could have just taken his time there.
I think he's got quite lucky there. I think the number 4's arms were too close to his body for that to be given as a free kick. I can understand the reaction from the away bench, but Spittle again had a bit more time, could have rolled it out in front of him and got a bit more air on it rather than just, hooping it first time.
Ball clipped forward by Spittle. Missed there by Hodkinson as Bethan Walters comes forward, but it's put in there by Lussey. Now Doyle plays it in behind for Solomon, who's found himself offside, to the frustration of the fans behind the goal. Will be a free kick for Mason to take, and he takes it quickly. One in there by Johnson again. A big header and Spittle there to mop up after him. Hodkinson's forced back and has to go back to his goalkeeper passing. Better kick this time. Without that focal point of Britain, you just think the ball will just keep coming back at Marine. Johnson reads it again and lays it off to Barragan. Looks to play one in behind for Solomon, but he's always going to be second best getting to that ball. It's hooked forward by Mason. And now Boateng will come forward for the visitors now. Into Daly. He's got space to run into in the middle of the pitch, but goes back to Ascenso. And now into Whittam. Tries to skip past Bunny, but the fullback puts the challenge in. Guys, he's still with the ball though. A dink ball looking for Backhaul is won in there by Spittle. Guiseley still with the ball though, starting to build a bit of pressure in the second half. Play ball, nice little 1-2 on the wing, and here's Whittam coming forward, skips past the challenge, and it's a clear dive. For the frustration of Joe Bunny and Marine players, it's a terrible dive by Lewis Whittam. One of their players already been booked in this game for simulation, and should have been another one. Didn't need to hit the deck, Lewis Whittam. He got past the challenge. You do wonder how either the referee or linesman hasn't seen it, but they have seen it. Lewis Whittam deservedly booked for simulation.
I mean, that is just stupid. He had the ball at the byline, such a good position for him to cross the ball in, and he's decided, I know it was a bit of a tight angle, but he's decided in front of absolutely, like, the linos there, referee got a good sight of it, all the home fans in front of him, decides to go down under absolutely no contact whatsoever. You're looking to score a goal. I know you're trying to buy a penalty, but why risk it?
Yeah, well, the decision's gone against Whittam. The second booking in the game for the dive in the area. Hooked forward now by Mason. Looking for Whittam. Challenge in there by Bunny. Does well, the defender, to hook it forward. Now one in there by Howarth. Bit messy at the back there for Guiseley. Didn't quite get the ball away, and it's almost been dispossessed again, and they are by Solomon. Done well for Marine there. Solomon, he skips past the challenge. Referee plays advantage. Challenging there by Mepp and Walters, and Marine come away with the ball again with Barragan. Cross comes in. It's a decent cross by Barragan, and it looks to have hit the post from the cross. I'm not too sure how. I think it's Ben Hodkinson possibly couldn't quite turn the ball home after the cross did hit the post, but it's scrambled away and cleared indefinitely by Guiseley. Almost two there for Marine.
I think it's actually, he's headed it off the back of the fullback. I think it might be Boateng who cleared it unknowingly. I think that Boateng had overran the cross. Hodkinson just looked to nod it in to the near post, and because Boateng had overrun it, was running into his own goal, it just bounced off the back of his calf and somehow stayed out. Hodkinson, you've got to feel for him, because he should have a goal there, and he probably could have had a goal in the first half as well. He must be thinking to himself, you know, what more do I have to do?
Play back underway here. Johnson launches this one forward. It's going to miss the head of James Barragan by some distance into the feet of Mason, who dinks this one forward looking for Whittam. Every ball for Guys is coming down that right hand side now towards the substitute, and he's got the ball again here under the challenge of Bunny. Ball deflects to Daly. Heavy challenge in there by Charles Doyle, and he's holding his leg here under some discomfort. He's been battered and bruised in this game, Charles Doyle, and he's still on the floor. Referee not interested as he does get back to his feet. I think it looked worse than it actually was there. Doyle, he's been a warrior this afternoon. Never shy of a challenge. That's why his praise from his manager is so high. Following the play, Solomon Davis wins his side of throw-in. Just waiting for a runner here, the full-back, and finds Doyle. Under the challenge, he keeps the ball in the corner, Doyle, and ball comes to Solomon Davis. Now Hodkinson, who puts a cross into the box. It's going to be comfortably gathered by Mason. He wants to get things back underway pretty swiftly, but no options ahead of him. He does eventually go long, looking for Murphy. Challenged by Solomon Davis, and Fairley. He'll come forward now, looking towards Hodkinson. The pass wasn't the best. Easily cut out at the back there.
He needs to go to the outside of Hodkinson. by playing that pass, it gave Meppenwater the chance to intercept, which he did. If he'd played it on the outside of him, Hodkinson was always going to win that race.
Lewis Whittam looking to come inside for the visitors, but his pass is cleared. Josh Solomon-Davis. Will be another throw-in for Quain Boateng to take, just inside of his own half. Just a bit of back and forth between Callum Murphy and Charlie Doyle. Referee just having a word with Doyle. Both Doyle and Murphy, in fact, receiving a word from the referee. Just a warning for both players, and play back underway now. Boateng's throw, won in there well by Doyle. He's gone down holding his head again, referee not interested. And the ball breaks for Whittam now, one-on-one with Johnson, and he goes past the defender, skips past the challenge, but two Marine bodies are in front of him. It was Bunny, in fact, that he skipped past, and Johnson got back to put the block in for a Guiseley corner.
Yeah, I'm surprised the referee, considering Charlie Doyle is already bandaged up, didn't stop the play with the head injury. Obviously allowed Guiseley to get the shot off and the chance away, which obviously if it was on the other shoe, we'd
Corner
have liked.
comes in, headed in, and it's a goal. Hayes corner finds the head of Callum Murphy, and it's a simple header into the corner, top corner. Callum Murphy comes across to celebrate with the travelling Guiseley supporters. The game looking just to peter out into a Marine 1-0 win. A corner in the first half and a corner in the second half is what's brought this game level.
Yeah, it's annoying for Marine, especially considering the fact that Charlie Doyle was down holding his head when Guiseley won the corner. But you can't, it's a good ball in, but you can't allow a striker that much space in the box to head it. I didn't quite see who was marking him, but it's a tough position for Marine now, because I feel like Solomon, since Louis Britton went off, has been a bit of a graveyard role. So seeing how we get a goal from here is going to be tough, I think.
You have to say it was a decent header by Callum Murphy, but disappointing from a Marine perspective. Cheap goal to concede them straight off a corner, and Guiseley now the tails up, come forward again. Scott Backhaw fouled by Lussey, and I think if there is going to be a third goal in this game, it's looking to be going the way of the visitors, the way the second half's gone. Marine obviously losing Louis Britton, their focal point in attack. Won't make things any easier for the Mariners in the latter stages of the game. Free kick taken by Meppen Walters onto the head of Murphy again. Again, Murphy able to get his head to the ball, but Passant's able to claim it, and his kick looking for Barragan quickly is shepherded out on that far side by Daly. And a throw in now for the away side, taken down the line, but chipped in there by Howarth. The ball breaks in for a Marine shirt, and now Whittam on that right wing again, comes inside, gets past Bunny, dinks it into Hay, and Hay lays it off now to Smales Braithwaite. Smales Braithwaite one-on-one with Spittle, and the shot comes in, saved by Passant low to his left. The ball forward, look close to Solomon, who brings the ball down with his arm, and another free kick that Guiseley get under the way quickly again. I don't think the player, Whittam, knows the play was going on, but the ball runs to him, and he goes past Barragan far too easily there, and the cross comes in, cleared by Joe Bunny. Guiseley still with the ball though, and it's gone out wide now to Whittam again. Whittam skips past Bunny, and Bunny brings him down, and you would think that is going to be a yellow card for Joe Bunny. It's not really dangerous since coming on. Lewis Whittam, despite his simulation in the box, he's caused problems for Joe Bunny. And the Marine left back receives a yellow card for his troubles.
It's a really tough position now for Marine. You're going to have to manage this period really well because Guiseley are right on top here. They've got the momentum, and we're having to be back on the back foot. It's going to be interesting to see what Neil Young does in terms of tactical switches, because I think that Joe Bunny might, even though he's just got the booking, go forward. I think there probably will be a third goal in this game. I'm not sure about you, Tom.
Yeah, I'm just looking, there's a Guiseley man who's at the deck. There's the Guiseley fans now in fine voice following that equaliser. It looks like number 12, the man we're just talking about, Lewis Whittam, who's come off badly from the challenge of Joe Bunny. I'm not too sure he'll be able to continue. So 2 substitutes have had to be substituted for Guiseley.
Wonder what the odds of that were.
Yeah. There's Lewis Whittam, the latest casualty, limping off the pitch, and I think it will be number 14, Jake Cassidy, joint top scorer in the league with 7 goals, who's going to replace the winger.
I'm expecting to see that stat on Opta later. I don't know, I can't remember ever a game where 2 substitutes had to then be substituted.
Lewis Hay over the free kick. Thinks it's one towards the far post, and it's hit the post, and it's cleared by Mark Howarth. Marine still under the cosh here as the ball breaks to Swales Braithwaite, taken on Spittle, and looks to get a cross in, blocked well by Jordan Lussey. Solomon Davis will come away with it, and that's a cynical foul, and the easiest yellow card George Eaton will have to give all day there. Ross Daly knew what he was doing. Solomon Davis looked to break away and brought to the deck. Just confirmation there of the attendance this afternoon, 1,270. Brilliant support again at the MTA, as we see week in, week out. And I think Neil Young will use substitute number 2. Solomon Davis has come off not too great from that challenge, and a fair few injuries in this game for both sides, and Sean Smith's the man stripped and ready for the Mariners. Well, it will be, in fact, Mark Howarth to be the man to come off for Sean Smith, despite Solomon Davis limping off. I think he will be okay to carry on, Solomon Davis. So confirmation, Sean Smith slotting in at left back. Joe Bunny looks to be climbing up the pitch. And the game's back underway now, with Lussey hooking the ball forward, looking for Solomon, and Solomon almost found himself in and around the box. Ball breaks for Smith, and it's a poor passing field. And Guiseley will look to come away with the ball. It's challenging there by Johnson for a throw to the visitors. Challenging there by Lussey. Coming forward, looking for Bunny, who's shown his versatility once more, going from a makeshift left back to his more familiar position as a striker. You did think with the loss of Louis Britton that we would see that at some point in the game. And if you're just joining us, we are approaching the last 10 or so minutes of this game. Scoreline: Marine 1, Guiseley 1. Second half equaliser by Callum Murphy has brought the visitors back into the tie. And they look to come forward again here with Murphy. Skips past Johnson, he does well to cover and puts the challenge in, but his pass is a heavy one. Challenging there by Smith for Marine throw-in. Smith now looking to just one down the line. Started on the bench last few games, Sean Smith. He's come onto the field now. What can he show what he can do to his manager? He gets up there to win the ball well, and Lucy will clear forward. High ball now. Mepham Walters is under this one, but it's only as far as Solomon, and now Doyle out wide looking for Hodkinson, who's had a quiet second half compared to his first, and the ball escapes for the Guiseley throw-in. Boateng with the throw-in, goes down the line, challenging there by Doyle once more, flicked on by Hodkinson but cleared away. And Solomon Davis loses out the battle to Cassidy, and now it's Smales Braithwaite taking on Sean Smith. Comes inside and skips past the challenge nicely. Plays a lovely ball in behind, and Passant has to stay alert there and makes a very good save. Bailey Passant. I think it was Scott Backor who it was, and he's got his head in his hands. He looked to Dink Passant, who was alert to the situation. He made a good fingertip save there to keep Marine in the game. But Guiseley will come forward again, and it's Cassidy, the substitute, out wide. Now, skipped inside, past Solomon, the cross comes in, and it's deflected off Lucy and well held by Passant. But Marine under the cosh at the moment.
Yes, brilliant goalkeeping that from Bailey to stop it from going to 2-1 to Guiseley, just stretching out the arm behind him to stop the ball going in, because from our angle you could tell it was definitely going in. But we really need to manage this situation. I understand Neil putting Joe Bunny up front just to add a bit of threat, but at the moment we just need to shut up shop a little bit for the next few minutes and see it out, because at the moment, guys, they've got all the momentum. You might be able to hear their fans. They're well up for this 3 points.
It's been one-way traffic the last 15 or so minutes. You do wonder what the game plan will be from Neil Young now, but at the moment he's a bit more concerned with the challenge on Hodkinson, and I think it's for the reason that the player making the challenge, Ross Daly's already been booked. He wanted another yellow to his name there, the Marine dugout, but I think it will just be a free kick. Ben Hodkinson over this one. There's a few final white shirts enter the Guiseley box. Cross comes in by Hodkinson. Breaks here for Spittle. This comes out to Hodkinson, who hits it. It's blocked, and it's found its way to a Marine shirt, and heavy challenge by Solomon. Guaranteed free kick there, as Josh Solomon Davis is still feeling the effects on that early challenge. It's a debt to add another injury to the tally that we've seen this afternoon. So Solomon Davis, I think, will be coming off as the trainer comes on just to assess. It might be a knee injury, I'm not too sure from here. As the two sets of fans enjoying themselves in chants towards each other. And just confirmation there, I think it will be Carl Haid to replace Solomon Davis from Marine's final substitution. So Carl Haid coming onto the pitch. He marked his return in a Marine shirt with a straight red card away at a miserable away game at Liversedge a couple of weeks ago, but past that suspension now and returns to put a shift in these final stages here. As the game gets back underway now, flicked forward for Guiseley, cleared by Spittle and held up by Bunny, just couldn't quite get the ball under his grasp. Flick forward now as Guiseley come forward and a shot comes in by Scott Backup. And I think the referee's awarded a corner here, slight deflection. Didn't see it myself, but no complaints by anyone in Marine shirt. So Lewis Hay will go over to take a corner here.
Yeah, to be honest, I don't see really how that was a corner. I looked across to the Guiseley media and they didn't think it was either.
Hay with the corner, looking for Cassidy, headed in there but cleared by Lussey just about, only as far as Hay, who skips past Kyle Hayde far too easily and dinks the ball in. Looking for Cassidy, headed away at Johnson, and Cassidy again fires that one miles over. No calmness in the shot. A poor one in the end, and Marine get away with one there. You have to think that from a Marine point of view, you'd take a point at this stage. The way the game's going, as the referee just drops his card there. Passon clears it to Smith now, coming forward. Smith into Solomon. Comes inside. Looks a bender crossing, cleared by Mepham Walters. Hayde collects it just about and wins aside a throw-in. Throw-in by Hayde. Goes in towards Bunny, just couldn't quite lay it off to Hodkinson. Marine still with the ball and a challenge in there on Doyle, played on by the referee. And the ball looking for Cassidy in behind, comfortably cleared here by Spittle and flicked on by Doyle. Boateng's in there for Guiseley, but Doyle comes out with the winner this time, and the ball in behind, looking for Hodkinson, who's breaking forward for Marine. Hodkinson puts the cross in, looking for Solomon. It might break there for Barragan, cleared away, but Marine still come forward with Sean Smith. Puts the cross in, headed away. Doyle's underneath this one and takes on the strike, and I think it might have taken a deflection. It has, and Marine have a corner.
Yeah, great work from, it was Charlie Doyle down the right hand side who won the initial flick on, then won it again to play in Hodkinson. Good balling by Hodkinson. Unfortunately, when the ball was put in and cleared, Barragan couldn't get his shot off early enough to not allow the defender to get the block in, but corner now, and bit better period for Marine. They got through the little 5-minute period that I mentioned just to settle the nerves a little bit. Now it looks like we could be the ones who might be getting the third goal.
Solomon's corner. Plays it in, looking to the back post, similar to where Mark Howard was on the goal in the first half, but he wasn't there on this occasion. It's gone all the way out for a Guiseley goal kick. Guiseley fans still believe that the 3 points are there for the taking in this game. The goal kick now, Cameron Mason. Forward, flicked on by Smails Braithwaite, cleared by Doyle. Flicked on very coolly there, the skipper Mepham Walters back to his goalkeeper. Mason will come out with the ball and hit this one forward. Put in there by Kyle Hayde, the substitute. Flicked on, but one in there by Spittle, but Guiseley still with possession in the Marine half. Skip forward by Smails Braithwaite, who's able to put a cross in, and it's found its way onto the roof of the stand. Had all the time in the world to pick his cross there. Benjamin Smails Braithwaite, it was a poor one in the end. So the Marine man of the match has been given to number 7, Ben Hodkinson. Adam, would you agree with that decision?
I think I would. He's had the best opportunities in the game, and he's unfortunate not to have scored. I don't think there's been any stand-up performance. I think the man who's just on the ball there, Johnson, could be in for that shout, but I think Hodkinson's definitely was up there, and I'd give it to him today.
Confirmation, Ben Hodkinson with the man of the match. As Marine come forward with Lussey. Dink ball over the top to Solomon. He brings it down well. Solomon puts a cross in, looking for Joe Bunny. Gathered again by Cameron Mason, who's looked solid in the net for the visitors. Very assured on a rainy day. All you can ask for your keeper. Looks to play it out wide. It smells Braithwaite, but it's gone out of play, and Haid will get it back underway quickly. Throwing down the line is a great one, looking for Joe Bunny. Doyle into the feet of Bunny, coming forward for Marine. Bunny runs into trouble there. But Marine come away with the ball again. Here's Smith coming inside. Back out to Doyle. Haid's touch isn't great and deflects out for a Guiseley throw. Fans still in a fine voice, approaching the latter stages as we see how many minutes maybe added on. I think just a little altercation on the Marine bench when throw was taken there, making sure it is a Marine throw-in. But Carl Haid will get us back underway. Down the line, cleared forward by Guiseley into Cassidy, brings it down. And we'll play it over the top, looking for Backer. Backer and Smells Braithwaite both were never getting that ball, and Smells Braithwaite ridiculously just kicks the ball away and picks up a yellow card. Not too sure what was going through his head on that occasion. Been a fair few bookings in this game for some poor decision making, you have to say. Throw in by Haid into the chest of Bunny. Smacked forward by Mepham Walters. Johnson returns a favour, but it's headed in there by a Marine shirt. Smells Braithwaite can't quite bring it down, and Marine will have another throw in. We are now to the 90th minute. Don't think we've had the board up to say how many minutes of additional time will be played, but we'll carry on until we hear that final whistle. We're passing with a risky ball out to Smith, but it works out. Smith down the line to Solomon. Solomon couldn't return the favour to Smith and just about get away with it, Marine. Foot in there. And Spittle comes away with it and passes off his line. And it's a goal. Guiseley have found themselves a winner in the last minute of the game. Ridiculous goal to give away. Spittle just about got away with giving the ball away, but it broke for Smells Braithwaite and passing miles off his line. And an easy finish over the top of him by Smells Braithwaite, and that's the game gone, Adam.
I mean, that's just come from a catalogue of errors. Lussey with a pole ball back to Sean Smith. Sean Smith with a poor clearance. Johnny Spittle with a loose touch. And then a cool finish from Smells Braithwaite after his booking to probably seal the 3 points for Guiseley. It's just not good enough. Not good enough. A situation like this, just get the ball up the other end. Don't need to be... Yeah, I'm lost for words, honestly.
I have to say, it was a nice finish by Benjamin Smells Braithwaite, but from a Marine point of view, they've thrown this game away. At 1-1, it was always going to be Guiseley pushing for that winner. The way the game was going, the Marine weren't happy with a point, and they've lost all points because of it. Can they find a late goal? No. Spittle's ball forward can't be latched onto by Bunny, and Cameron Mason will take all the time in the world with this goal kick. Guiseley fans, if they weren't happy before, they're absolutely buzzing now. And that trip back up to Yorkshire will feel a whole lot better with the 3 points in the bag. But Marine, you have to say, if they want to be up in there and talked about in the playoff mix, this is a game where they took the lead. They should be picking up 3 points. Cassidy hits the deck from a challenge by Spittle and still has the ball. No, a lovely feat in there by the goal scorer Smells. Braithwaite, and he's found another. It's 3-1. Smells Braithwaite. Smiles Braithwaite, sorry. Lovely feet in there on the edge of the box and just fires a shot pretty much straight at Bailey Passon. I think the power of the shot just took it away from the goalkeeper and he couldn't do anything about it. And it's now Marine 1, Guiseley 3.
And that has released the floodgates. Marine fans rightfully leaving the stadium. That's game over. 3 goals for Guiseley, 3 points for them as well. Smells Braithwaite with a great performance at the end of this game. I looked up, the ball was in the net. Obviously a very powerful strike past Bailey Passon, but from the sounds of it, seems like he maybe could have done better with it. But yeah, just massive disappointment. You can tell that on the faces of the Marine players, agonising.
Well, it's unlike Marine to concede goals in this fashion. Leaking goals at the end of this game. Marine 1, Guiseley 3. And there is a full-time whistle. Marine 1-0 up at the half-time interval. Have ended up conceding 3 second-half goals. And a defeated 3-1 by Guiseley. A brace at the end by Benjamin Smales Braithwaite. There's a difference here, and Marine's next game will come this Tuesday as they take on Matlock Town, hoping for a better result there. And you can join us there for a 7:45 PM kickoff. It ends here at the MTA, Marine 1, Guiseley 3. Thank you for tuning in.